You're tuned in to the It's Real podcast with your hosts, Kayla, Kallander, and Andrew Yagi. Each week, we'll talk about what happens behind the scenes working full-time in real estate and share with you real-life stories, our successes and failures as we work to help consumers and industry professionals reach their real estate and real-life goals. Here we go.
It's episode 100 of the It's Real podcast. Andy, we did it. We did it. I'm Kayla Kallander. You're Andrew Yagi. We said it 100 times. We did it.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that we're here, Kayla. Happy 100 episodes.
What do you mean you won that ability?
Find some apply. Yeah, there's some kind of cool things behind the scenes here. You know, Kayla, I was looking back a little bit, and do you know when our first episode was?
Well, I was thinking 2022, but I don't think that's right.
February 25th of 2023. It was Giving Hearts Day, and we finally took the plunge. I was looking back in StreamYard, which is what we use behind the scenes, and we did kind of our first little test. Back in April of 22, and we did shot a few other things, and then we finally made it to the big screen in February of 2023.
We did it. I mean, I still remember I was sitting in my car, and I remember where I was. I was in Fargo. It was winter, and you're like, I think we should just do this. And I'm like, okay, like, sure. And I went and got a fancy microphone. And I remember we shot that first one, and we're like, we don't know if we're going to go anywhere with this or do anything, but why not try? Why not do it? And here we are. I mean, 100 episodes later. So
giving free real estate advice.
Free. Amen.
It's worth what you pay for it.
Yeah, it's good. It's been a journey, and I think there's a lot to reflect on and look back on. And I'm still shocked that we're here, because isn't there a stat that most podcasts don't do more than 10 or 20? Isn't that kind of
it's like most people don't make it. I mean, and that would be the really ambitious ones, don't make it past 10 or 20. But I think it's been a lot of fun, and I think it'd be really, good to kind of talk about that, today too, Kayla, as we're 100 episodes down the road, and what we've learned, what we do differently, and maybe where we're headed, and not even in the context of podcasts, but in real estate, because I think a lot of people do come here to, kind of be in the know as far as what's going on in real estate, and kind of helping them on their journey. And I'm sure there are some episodes that are more viewed than others, and we may not always get the most likes, comments, or shares, but I know I personally am having a lot of conversations with people out in the community, or have had people even reach out directly because of the podcast and be like, hey, I think you'd be a good fit. Let's work together.
Well, and I think that's what it's about too, is community and showing up. And it's, real estate is local, and whether people listen to us for the whole episode or they just get bits and pieces, I think that our goal has always been to just provide free advice and give our perspective. Everyone has their own perspective on, being in real estate and mortgage, and what this industry means to them and how they operate. And so we've allowed people to kind of come into our lives, because we talk a little bit about personal as well, and just hear what we're experiencing day in and day out. It's not like we're doing an episode every 3 months. We try to do weekly, and I hope people are getting just knowledge and things that they didn't know, and they can pop us on their podcast on their drive and just hear little tidbits. So I mean, I'm grateful for those that have listened and given us feedback, because I love that you share. You've had people say, I see you, and that's what this is about. It's really hard to get in front of 100 people, 1,000 people, and consistently we can see every week how many people view us, and that's awesome. Like, we hope that it provides value. So
for sure. Grateful. Well, before we reflect a little bit, Kayla, we try to do this weekly. I don't think last week we did this. I know you've been busy. I did a little bit of traveling, was down to Arizona for kind of some family time and a little flight training. What's going on in Kayla's life, and what have you been up to?
Like recently, or in the last 100 episodes?
Yeah. Where have you been the last 100 episodes?
Let me tell you.
About all the changes.
Right now, we are seeing, I mean, we knew this was going to happen. Rates are softening, and we're seeing people pick up and want to refinance. We're seeing the market, I feel like, get a little hotter than it typically does for this time of year. So I'll be honest, I've been so, I guess, up to my ears in business in the best way possible that I haven't taken any vacations. I haven't done that yet. It's been so cold, so the dogs haven't been outside. But I think it also, I love that you talk about taking time for, family, go to Arizona. I think I think we often forget that you have to rest to be your best. So that's kind of on my goals. My coach has said, Kayla, make this a priority, go somewhere with Taryn. So as busy as it is and as wild as rates are and people in the market, that's one of the things that I've been up to is thinking about where do I go? What do I do? How do I get away for a little bit? So
I think you should go hop on a plane this weekend and just pick a destination. Lord knows that
oh,
Fargo has plenty, and you need to see the Fargo airport since they just
I
got done with the
know.
remodel. It's like, wow, Fargo's like it's kind of swanky.
Yeah, I've heard, I've seen pictures. I told Taryn that the other day. I'm like, I can't wait to see the airport. So yeah. And here's the deal. It's a quick flight to Arizona. The UV index is 6. I looked. It's really not that hard to get away for a weekend. You just have to do it. You just have to book the darn trip. So
Mhm. Yep.
yeah.
We just had a great time down in Arizona. Got both sets of grandparents that go down there. My
Mhm.
parents have been going down a little bit as well, so we had kind of some nice time and relaxed. Saw family, did some fun things. I did a couple days of flight training as well, so
Nice.
kind of checking a variety of things off. And unfortunately, we left the area when the weather was nice and came back, and it's been frigid ever
Of
since.
course. It'll warm up. Hang in there. We're almost there. Living on a
For,
prayer.
for sure. Anything else fun going on? Business, life, community stuff that you're involved with?
We had speaking of, we started this episode, or so the first episode on Giving Hearts Day. I think that's been something that's probably one of the biggest things that's happened recently is that such a community event. People come out, they give, and donations can be matched. And I just love the community at that time. My dog did have his video debut. Did you see my dog on
I did
TV?
not, I don't think.
Well, Theo made a video for Giving Hearts Day for, animal awareness for rescue. So it was fun to see him on the big screen, but that was a really fun event. But this time of year, it's so fun to see everybody. Like, I'm living vicariously through people on vacations, but I've had some people that are in Puerto Vallarta and are a little sketch like, do we get out of here? Do we go? So that's been interesting. I've seen some people cancel their vacations even. So speaking of taking trips, that's kind of what we've seen. But other than that, February is a quiet time. It's almost like it's like the calm before the storm of, the parade of homes that's coming up. Everything, it's like people and their dogs come out everywhere in Fargo. So it's a quieter time around Fargo this time of year.
Hmm. For sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're headed to Mexico in about another week and a half, and
Oh,
also some
where?
initial cause for pause going to Cabo. So I think
Okay.
that's far enough away. But even looking around a little bit, I mean, I certainly some challenges down there, but I don't know. There are challenges around here as well.
Are you going with family or friends? Who are you going with?
Yep, gonna go with some family. So yeah.
Okay. Oh, fun. Your family or Katie's?
No, just a cousin of mine and Jordan, one of your
Ah,
old NDSU classmates, and his wife.
love it.
So
Oh, fun.
yeah,
Enjoy
we'll go
it. Be
down.
safe.
What's that?
Be safe. I mean,
Yeah,
the world is a crazy place, but
it is.
Cabo is amazing.
I was just trying to look for Theo's video. You'll have to send it to me later, but I was just quickly skimming the Homeward Animal Shelter's website and or Facebook page, and I found this cat named Miss Trunchbull.
Stop. Are you kidding me? That is great.
I feel like Matilda was always a favorite growing up, and I've got a brother that really liked it too, who loves animals. So I'm gonna have to tell him that he needs to go and adopt Miss Trunchbull.
I'm surprised you even recognize that. That's great. Oh my gosh, I love that. And Homeward always has pets for up for adoption too, and rescue. Like, oh, they do such a great job. So I know they raised, I think it was $240,000 on Giving Hearts
Wow,
Day. So I mean, amazing, and that helps us move forward to the new shelter. We're very much working hard to make happen. So
awesome, very
yeah.
cool.
I love that.
Well, Kayla, 100 episodes down the road, and we're at the 10-minute mark, so it's a good segue point for 10 to 100.
10 to
100
100.
episodes down the road, and you've been in banking like your whole life from college on, and been in mortgage for a really long time. I still think of myself as a little bit of the new kid on the block, just kind of starting, 6 years compared to a lot of the seasoned agents out there. But equally, every day we're growing, we're learning, we're succeeding, we're failing, some days as well. But
Mhm.
talk to me, Kayla, about, since the time that even we've started 3 years ago shooting this, tell me about some of the biggest lessons that you've learned in real estate
Mm.
as a mortgage lender.
I think it goes back to consistency. We talk about doing this podcast consistently, and we don't know if people are watching. We could just be talking to ourselves. We don't know if people are going to listen. We don't know if it's going to resonate with them. You don't know, but all you have to do is continue to show up. And I think there were times in my career, even in the last 3 years, where I've been like, am I made for this? Will people want to work with me? Will referral partners want to send me their clients? And so I think there were even times when I was doing social media that I'm like, is it worth it? But with anything, consistency is king and content is queen. And you have to continue to show up. And so, what I've seen in the last 3 years is my business completely explode in the best way possible, in ways I never knew. Last year provided We helped 119 families. We did 43 million in loans, and there were just two of us. And I think that, you know, when you set your standards and you make sure you take care of people and you focus on impact over income, it's amazing what happens. And what I've noticed, Andy, is I've had this more of an abundancy mindset. I know what I can provide the client. I know what I can provide the referral partner, the realtor, the financial advisor. And if people don't want to work with me because they want to use their dad's lender or someone local in Nebraska, whatever it may be, I still know that I'm doing my best and giving my best. And when you go into a conversation with that abundancy mindset, it's amazing how less anxious and stressed I am. If a client decides, hey, I'm not going to use you, cool, awesome, I'm here if you decide otherwise. But it's amazing how that attracts the right people, the right referral partners. And so I would say over the last few years, I've just been consistent. People know what to expect with me. They know what they're going to get. And that's proven to bring in more business. So,
Awesome.
yeah,
I,
it's been a blessing.
yeah, I love that. I love that. And you're right. Consistency is huge, and that's what I look at for myself as well. And I think, like, in terms of us, and even shooting this podcast.
Mhm.
It isn't necessarily like, okay, we're not trying to be the Joe Rogan podcast and try to get just an unbelievable, amount of activity. I mean, would it be fun? Sure, it would, but this is a little bit too focused, and something that's maybe slightly common. Maybe we'll get there one day. We probably won't. That's fine. But I just look at what's the consistency of connecting with another like-minded individual who is really doing well for themselves and for their clients
Mhm.
in business. And I think that, for me, that's been really, really great because, hey, if we can be consistent here, it's going to help grow. It's going to help, me advance in other areas.
Mhm.
Some
Mhm.
big lessons, Kayla, that I've learned, in the last 3 years.
Mhm.
This just popped up just the other day from Grant Cardone. Do you follow Grant Cardone at all?
Mhm. Mhm.
Let me get over to the right window now. Here we go. Uh, something big that I've learned, not everybody is going to be a cheerleader. Not everyone's going to be happy for you and your success or even for what you provide. Grant
Mhm.
Cardone said, and I just saw this the other day again, you'll never be criticized by someone who's doing more than you. You'll only be criticized by someone who's doing less.
Mhm.
So I try to think of that often because especially, and I know you hit your share of roadblocks as well, but especially being in a rural area, it's going to be really challenging because, again, there are a lot of people that have jealousy issues, or you're taking business from them, or they feel entitled. to something. And so I think that's another lesson as well, which, kind of comes back to the consistency and just surrounding yourself with great people. I recently was kind of doing an inventory and like, hey, who do I spend my time with, or who are
Mhm.
closest to me? And, there are some individuals that, coming into the new year, I need to probably, spend less time with, or, talk
Yeah.
to less, because, they're not helping me get to where I need to be. Or, as they say with relationships, people are with you for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. And, what does that look like as I kind of take an inventory, in my life? And the other
Mhm.
part
Yeah.
is, probably the other big lesson that I've learned, Kayla, is, um, being too hesitant, being afraid to fail, and, you know, not taking the leap. So I look at
Mhm.
where I was 3 years ago. Hey, still had a good business, but today it's like, hey, we're growing a team. We're growing something. I know you're growing a team. It's something that I maybe should have done quicker, but I also kind of believe that you're kind of where you should be at
Mhm.
given point in time.
Mhm.
So I think that, hey, I
Mhm.
needed to kind of sit and to grow, and to learn a little bit, so I could find success with
I
where
love
I'm at.
that. Well, and I think too, going back to who you surround yourself with, you have to be selective on about who's on your team and who you're around, because I've had people, and I was talking to my coach about this the other day, and maybe you experience this as well, but it's like, I might tell someone, hey, I want to grow and scale and impact, and people deserve to have the Kayla Kallander experience. And you will have someone that will say, yes, they do. You need to grow, continue to shine. But you will also have people that will make you feel crazy for having those goals, Andy. As you scale your team, they might say,
Yep.
why can't you just be happy with the money you're making? And it's like, you know what, it's not about the money. Or why don't you just take a vacation and just like not worry about it? I think when you're passionate and you care, and that the clients are in your best care, it's hard not to want to pursue helping more people. And some people will make you feel crazy and like just slow down. But I think, Andy, it's because it makes people uncomfortable. It makes people feel uncomfortable. So if they bring you down a bit to their goals, then they don't feel so out of place. And I've noticed that a lot in the last probably 18 months. Is there something wrong with me? Like, why can't I just be happy? And I think there's a difference between being happy, but being happy and grateful, but also wanting more. And that's where I've just noticed the right people, having your personal board of advisors, who you spend time with, who are you going to for advice, is a big deal. And you have to be very careful, because once you get in your head, it's hard to get out of your head. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. You probably have experienced that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Great lessons, and I mean, it's fun to grow. I know you're kind of like me, addicted to growth and personal and professional development, which sometimes can be a little bit challenging, and sometimes you've got to back off the gas a little bit. But hey, it's fun to learn and it's fun to grow.
Mhm. Mhm. And I think too, it's like, it's okay to want something different than somebody else. And I also believe in the saying that you're best positioned to help the person that you once were. I mean, we all go through things and we have trials and tribulations and, you know, failures. And I think you have to see those failures as success, and that you might be able to help someone one day with that failure to help them. And I think, you said that don't be afraid to take the leap. I would say if you take the leap and you don't hit your target, at least you tried, at least but that's kind of just again reflecting on what I've seen in the last 18 months and how I've grown. I would say you're spot on with who you're around. I love
Mhm.
that.
Yeah. So we've talked about biggest lessons. Kayla, what are the biggest mistakes that you've made,
Yeah, good
in the
question.
last 3 years?
The biggest mistakes now, personally or professionally? Are we talking professionally?
I think it could be either.
Yeah.
It's whatever
Um,
you like.
I would say there was a time, wow, we're getting real vulnerable here. There was a time I looked at a client and he was being rude and he was taking up my time. He was just chasing a rate, but he didn't know how to shop rates. He was just looking for the lowest, but didn't understand it came with a cost of like 13 grand. And everything that I did wasn't great. Like he just didn't like it. Why are you asking for this form? And why can't you just get me pre-qualified already? We do our due diligence. but he was shopping. And I remember thinking, Andy, I have known this individual for 3 days, and I'm more worried about what he thinks of me than my family who I've known forever, and what I mean by that is I was getting more upset about that than spending that energy focused on family and friends. And that was when things shifted a little bit for me was, okay, like, you need to set boundaries. People will treat you how you allow them to treat you. And that's a big, I would say, mistake that I had made was letting people control me. They would come to me for a service, but then they would get upset about the service. We follow guidelines. We have to follow Fannie Freddie guidelines. And I think that that was a shift for me where I'm like, what am I doing? And the moment that I actually pushed back and said, hey, listen, this is the deal. If you want to do it, great. If not, great. It just gave me this, like, I would say, like, sense of relief of, like, you know what, if this person doesn't work with me, that's okay. It allows me more time. I would get really upset if I lost a deal. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, like, what did I do wrong? Like, what could I have done better? And I had a friend tell me, maybe God was allowing that person to not be in your life, because what if that transaction went downhill and then they wrote a bad review and they told, like, sometimes people will have a bad experience, but it's no one's fault, but they'll take it out on you. And I think you have to really have perspective. And I didn't have that perspective for so long. Like, I just got to chase every deal and do my best and transaction, transaction, transaction. And people have to like me. And I would say that that's been a huge shift. I don't know if it just comes with older age or what, but it's like, take it or leave it. I'm here to help you. And if you can't pay cash, then that's where I come in and I can help you, but we got to follow the rules. And if I'm not for you, that's okay. So yeah. What about you, Andy? What about you? What's your, like, biggest mistake that you've made when you reflect back? And did you come
Biggest
back?
mistake, so I can think of a couple of them. So first of all, I think in terms of, first, Kayla, trying to win in, too many areas or arenas at once. I mean, as you know me, I have my hand in a lot of things. In real estate
Yeah.
alone, what I'll call active real estate. I've got investment properties. I've got doing flips. We tried our hand at some new builds. Doing some of that. I do some corporate flying. I farm a little bit, and we still run, a very active real estate team and one of the largest
Mhm.
in our immediate area. And so I think, just trying to win in too many areas, and then you throw family and friendships and other things on top of that, and it becomes slightly challenging. So that's one particular area. I think another area is not building systems and or not building them quick enough.
Mhm.
I'm just kind of a doer, and so, like, hey, I'm just going to jump in and get things done. Like, I've had my team, a little bit more of a skeleton team in years past, but especially now as we're growing, like, hey, we need systems. Especially as we have all this momentum and we get busy, and just trying to operate from memory versus process. So I think not building systems quick enough,
Mhm.
not slowing down to do it, because if you have good systems in place, generally things are going to work better. And I think probably one of the biggest ones, Kayla, is just like letting my health slide, especially as things get
Mm.
busy, which it seems to be busy all
Yeah.
the time. And I'm trying, to focus on that a little bit more. Although yesterday I found myself waking up at midnight, and a
Mhm.
combination of kids getting up and a lot going on in my mind. And I was up for, about 20 hours yesterday. And did I get a lot done? Yep. But I also am kind of on the verge of a little bit of a cold again. So I think
Mhm.
just not doing that and just like not focusing on nutrition, compromising a little bit too much there. And you
Yeah.
mentioned it as well too, Kayla, a little bit, but um, avoiding those hard boundaries, especially
Mhm.
with people that are time wasters. And that comes in with friendships, with organizations that I've been a part of. But, most notably with clients or people that they profess they want to work with you, but they're not all in. They don't
Mhm.
share your vision.
Mhm. Well, that's a big one too, and knowing upfront, you can usually sniff it out, and that's your time, and that's the one thing we can't create more of is time. And I will say too, like, there is a way too, I'll kind of add to what you're saying is your health and your family and your job, your career. I truly believe there is a way that you can have it all. You just have to find the balance. You have to delegate, you have to hire.
Abundance.
Yeah. And I think that there's a lot of conversation in our world that it's like, well, that's just part of it. You can't have it all, Andy. You just can't have it all. And I think you can. I think you can to a degree. I think you can have your health, but a lot of people try to, I don't want to say gatekeep. I don't think that's the right word. It's like, I'm just going to do it all. But the moment you start to delegate, that's the moment you start to elevate. And I think whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, hiring someone to mow your lawn, hiring a VA, having systems, having boundaries, like once you get into that rhythm, I mean, to me, there's a way to have it all.
That's what my coach had told me not that long ago. He said, "You really need to focus on being the puppet master. You've got this great team. You've got this leverage,
Mhm.
these systems, everything else, and really, it's incumbent on you to sit back um, and really make sure that you have things in place." And it's kind of hard. I think about it too, and part of it goes with going too many different directions. In my case, I think like in your case, there's just so much demand for you, and so just building out kind of I think it comes down to process and
Yeah.
using technology, using AI to say, okay, what is something that I absolutely need to do that I need to intervene in? What are things
Mhm.
that don't? In my case, I'm going just a lot of different directions. I have really good people, boots on the ground on the real estate side, but it's just making sure that I have the vision and I'm thinking ahead and getting people moving in the right direction.
Well, and I think having systems or having like I follow a lot of like these TikToks that talk about like Outlook, email hacks or things that you can do or templates or like what are some things that you could do if you're repeating yourself, make a video and send it to your clients. If you have questions you're constantly answering, create an FAQ.
Right.
Like it takes, and this is a mistake I made. I'll even reflect on is I would do these things over and over and I'm like, "Stop, take 20 minutes and make a process and it'll never happen again." So it's like the arrow coming back before it launches forward. You just got to take a moment and get it together, you know?
Amen. I've been going hard at it right now. We're working extensively on getting some new AI initiatives rolled out, and one of the things about AI is like it's not perfect, and like
Yeah.
so today is the worst AI is going to be. It's going to be better tomorrow, and so even with some of the vendors I'm working with, just kind of working, enjoying the journey, and giving them
Mhm.
some grace because I know even as I've tried to build some things, I was using Lovable the other day working on building an app, and there were some challenges, and I haven't been back to it, but it's like, okay, we're just going to keep going at this from different angles. I try to think of it as, hey, we're out in the field harvesting sugar beets and a truck is
Mhm.
stuck and we're trying to pull it out. We're not getting it from this angle. Well, we're going to have to reassess and we're going to just have to keep going. And I think the same is true, the same analogy, even for those who are trying to buy, those who are trying to get pre-approved and maybe they're hitting snags based on past decisions, poor credit, etc. Just got to keep moving ahead, keep making
Mhm.
1% improvements because Kayla, like our friend James Clear says, if you make 1% improvements every day, how many times better are you at the end of the year?
365.
37 times better. But hey, so I think
One
that we
person.
don't.
That's all it takes.
But hey, I mean, it's like even when we started this, like we had no idea, and here we are, 100 episodes down the road,
Mhm.
and our businesses are both growing. We're growing as
Mhm.
individuals, we're growing as leaders, as community members, and it's fun.
And we're deciding what to let go of as well. Like, what do you want more of? What do you want less of? And I think as I get older too, it's more time. And how do you create more time? So yeah, I'm grateful for the lessons. I'm grateful for the mistakes because I wouldn't be here without them. So
So, lessons and mistakes aside, 100 episodes
mhm.
down the road, what about the next 100? Where do we go from here? Where do you think we're going to be in 3 years, Kayla? And
Oh
what
man.
kind of a ride can our listeners expect?
Oh my gosh.
You going to be
Okay.
in mortgage in 3 years still,
Yeah, I think I'm.
or will AI have replaced you?
Oh man, I don't know. Maybe you never know. There's some cool stuff coming out. I think mortgage for sure. I think mortgage will always be a part, whether I'm leading a team or I'm involved, whether I'm coaching. I think that what we're seeing in this business, especially in mortgage, and what I've learned is we're trying to hire for a loan partner, and trying to find someone that in mortgage is so hard lately. People, Andy, have gotten out of the business. They got frustrated in 2022 and 23 and they left. It's hard. It's not for the faint of heart. It's a very stressful job to be able to say, hey, Andy, you can go buy a house. I looked at everything, and know that that is in your hands. And it's very rewarding, but it's also very stressful. And so the reason I share that is because a lot of lenders have gotten out, and I see a need for more lenders like me. I would love to shape and teach and coach other loan officers how to do it my way, how to do, hands-on, client-first mentality, education, empowerment. And when we've brought people on our team, they've been like, oh my goodness, I had no idea you did it like this. This is great. I see myself in 3 years being in mortgage still, but maybe impacting in a different way. Maybe it's impacting loan officers to impact people. Maybe it's still doing loans, but either way, I think it's in my blood.
Hmm.
What
Oh,
about you?
yeah, that's a good question. Well, so 3 years from now, I think I'd like to continue growing our team. I think we're on the cusp of something great, especially as I look at the technology. And I also look at all of the older agents out there that are going to be
Yeah.
aging out. I look at all of the casual and, what I call less than part-time agents, like 94% of agents sold, nine or fewer
Yeah.
homes last year, and 71% sold 0 to 1. So I look at that and I think that we have the ability to really scale and really help people more efficiently reach their goals and with less frustration. So I'm
Yeah.
excited about that. I also, it excites me about, kind of sharing our journey with other people. And so the possibility of also, coaching and just kind of
Yeah.
showing a methodology, because I too have an abundance mindset. Like I look at what we do with video, and we've gotten to the point with our marketing strategy, people take notice. And we have people that are just calling and saying, come list me. I
Yeah.
want to work with you. And so
Mhm.
I'd be happy to share that with other agents, because I think that, we can raise the boat for the whole industry.
Mhm.
I know that the majority of even those that I, compete with, most individuals are probably too lazy. They don't want to put the effort and energy in. So it doesn't bother me that someone else would do what we do. I think we need a higher standard. But so I
Mhm.
look at that, I think just even personally, just want to really be dialed in the health part I talked about, spending more time with family, with friends, just being
Mhm.
more deliberate, because, hey, there's always another deal. There's always more work. There's always, something
Always.
else that we can chase. Um, and it's addicting. It's very addicting to, just grind away. And so I think just, finding more balance.
Mhm. And I think too is like taking the time for quiet. I love the quote, if the devil can't make you bad, he'll make you busy. I
Mhm.
truly believe, and my coach even asked me this week, he's like, "Are you taking time to reflect?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just going." He's like, "You need to meditate," as some people call it, but think of the times, Andy, where you have all the good thoughts or you reflect. It's when you're not plugged in. We're so plugged in to these things that we don't even take the chance to just like let our brains think. And as I've gotten older, I would say that is something that I'm like, take the time to just be present. I think it's okay. I'm probably going to say something that we might have to edit out. But I'm going to say
No, I
this,
agree.
but like, have you heard? Okay. So edit this out if you need to. So have you heard about like going on a flight and raw dogging it? Have you heard that?
I haven't.
Where you don't have any communication, like no electronics, you just sit on your flight and you just be, maybe you have a notepad, but
Mm-mm.
you just sit without any TV, without any music, without anything. And I'm like, that is, it's magic. I feel like that's where you find yourself. So,
Well, I
I
think
don't
you should go book a trip somewhere, fly Allegiant because they have no technology on board, and lock your phone away or something, and bring a notepad and sit, and don't pay for a seat, so then you don't have to sit by Taryn, and you can sit and raw dog reflect all the way to wherever you'd like to go.
yeah, I've heard it. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll try this. It's kind of like driving your car without music. It's like just be. So I don't know. I think it's powerful, more powerful than we think.
I think we need more silence, in our lives. And I was even talking. There's a friend of mine that I have who is a very unique individual, and one of the reasons that I really like him is because he's unlike anybody else I surround myself with. And after observing me for a while, he said, "You know what I think you need in your life? you need quiet. You need to go and almost like go on a hike, like by yourself for a week. Leave your cell phone
Yeah.
and just go out and explore nature and silence. He said, I think that would be the most pivotal thing you could do,
Mhm.
and it would really give you a lot of clarity. I think
Mhm.
he's right.
I agree, and it's funny how we used to think that that was, like, so weird, like, to go and just, like, be with the earth and, like, go and meditate. It's like, no, like, you need that now. We're just so connected. I think everybody needs that, especially in this industry. There's always more. There's always someone you can help. There's more leads, there's more people, there's more sales. At some point, you have to just be okay to take time for you because you're not gonna be able to help everyone else unless you take care of you.
Mhm. I like it.
Yeah.
Very insightful, Kayla. Very
Very,
insightful
very deep. Very
for
deep today.
little joint therapy session that hopefully
Yeah.
those that are watching or listening find some benefit out of. But I've
Yeah.
really enjoyed doing this, for 100 episodes, and here's to 100 more, Kayla.
Do 100 more. Are you gonna play something on your piano?
Not today, but I should. We'll
Okay.
do some music one of these days.
Okay. New in the next 100, Andy Yagi will be playing the piano on the podcast. You heard it
I will.
here.
I will. As you've seen it in some over in the corner of my office, I did buy, pick up a keyboard, and which sometimes my girls are using to cram before piano lessons as they have a
Oh,
little
yeah.
lull between school and lessons. And sometimes I play, sometimes we'll jam a little bit, but yeah, we'll work some music into it.
We'll work it out. Okay. Well, I hope everybody that listens in is happy and excited to hear us continue. We're not stopping here. We're going to continue. I think we are. We haven't said we aren't, but maybe I'm speaking for just
Ain't
me.
no stopping us now.
But we'll continue on, and I'll ask the audience too, if you are listening to us, if you made it this far, let us know what you want to hear from us. Let us know if there's something that really resonates or you want us to touch more on. Is we're not just in the industry. We are very well-rounded people with many different, things that we're doing in life, and we're just like you. And I think it's important that we hear from the audience if if there's anything special they want us to focus on.
Right on. I love it, Kayla. Well, cheers to 100 more, and have a great rest of the week.
Cheers. I will if you will.
Yeah, Kayla.
All right, bye.